A blade is like a tea leaf. Only those who sample it many times can appreciate its true qualities. A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems. So this is a day in the life of the traveler. I'm learning more about you all the time. A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems. A blade is like a tea leaf. Only those who sample it many times can appreciate its true qualities. A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems. I only wish life could be as leisurely as this a little more often. How greedy of me. A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems.
My sword! Yeah! Yeah! Yeah!
One with nature!
Fool! Be gone! And this body belongs to ice and snow. Sooner we're done, the better. Light! You can't run!
Into the wind!
My blade!
Rain, lines and fate.
Let's get down to home. Business. To the ferry. There's more! My ferry.
One with nature.
My apologies.
As one with wind and cloud. Into the wind.
Whirling snow.
Hello to whoever joined the stream, welcome. I hope you're having a great day. I started this a few minutes ago, so don't worry, you haven't missed anything. Actually, I haven't been talking, so...
Take flight.
One with nature.
Alright, so as I mentioned in my tweet, this is just going to be a stream where I talk about the upcoming version, and you can also ask me any questions that you have regarding, you know, the upcoming version or just anything. Basically, I think it's cool that we get to see Lantern Rite again. I think more than the new region in Sumeru, what I'm excited about is the Lantern Rite, because that's always a lot of fun. And I mean, it's kind of cool that Sumeru is getting a new sort of patch, but also I'm kind of worried based on what I've seen of the map and the kind of content that we might be seeing in there because of just the sheer amount of cultural mixing that they did for it. But I guess we just have to see. I can't talk much about it anyway. I wouldn't be able to talk much about it without mentioning leaks, which I don't want to do on my own stream. Hi there. I hope you're doing well, Samir. As for the banners, I do plan to get Al Haytham. I think I'm on 76 pity, and I'm guaranteed because I lost my 50-50 last time. so getting him shouldn't be an issue. I'm pretty sure a lot of people want to get him anyway. I'm interested to see how much sales his battery is going to have.
Clouds high, the birds call. Into the wind.
A little taste. Fry. Another tingle. Freeze. Have a taste of this. Finally done.
You're on 20 pity and you have to win the 50-50? Oh god, I'm so sorry. That is rough. Frankly, if I was in that state, I don't know about your account and you know what kind of experience you have with the gacha system in Genshin. But for me, when I'm in that state, I just don't wish, because I know that I'm not going to be able to... Like, the likelihood of me getting a character that I want in that kind of pity is very low, because I always lose my 50-50s. I mentioned this in my last brief stream that I've wished on 12 different event wish banners, and I've lost my 50-50 every single time, with the exception of when I was trying to get Ayato C1 on his original banner last year. And 2 of those event wish banners were weapon banners, and I lost the 75-25. So it's if I want to get a character, I'm usually having the assumption that I'm going to lose the 50-50, and also with the assumption that I have to go to hard pity. Also, I'm sorry that this seems a little dull because I'm just doing commissions, because I've pretty much done most of the content that there is. There's actually 2 story quests that I haven't done, which is Yelan and Hutao, which I will do shortly later in this stream. But for Sumeru, I've done pretty much everything there is. There's really not much for me to go and explore. To whoever joined the stream, welcome. I hope you're having a great day or night. This commission is very funny because you have an option to give her a suspicious version of the dish, and if you do it, there will be a follow-up commission where she says that she has like a kind of pain in her stomach, and it gives you an achievement. I've already gotten it, but I didn't know it was a thing until I randomly stumbled upon it on the wiki. You're someone who has also had terrible luck on winning 50-50s only recently. Have you won 2 more 50-50s to record? Okay. And even then they were very odd victories. Yeah. I think it's very variable. Sometimes I start to suspect the gacha system and the probability rates that are there, because I mean, it's very, very unlikely for you to wish 12 times and only win the 50-50 once. It's the likelihood of that is very low if you consider that in fact the probability is 50-50. But I've just gotten kind of used to that. And it's also weird because I have a second account, and on my second account my luck is much better. I made my second account back when Ayako's banner was up, like her rerun, and it was like an extended banner, and I got Ayaka, I got Diluc and Ayaka, I think in, what, 60 wishes or something, and I played, you know, for that month a little, and then I picked up my account yesterday, or 2 days ago, and I got Ayato in like 20 wishes, And by the way, I got Ayato after I got Chi-Chi, so I got like 2 5-stars and 20 wishes, which is something I would never dream of having on this account. Okay, I think I have the dish. I don't have the dish, okay. I'll just go cook it. You've only won 3 50-50s to your name, huh? Child's Rerun and 2.3. Yeah. I only won once, and that was Ayato C1. Which made me really happy because I really wanted his C1, but it's like, why only that time? Like, technically speaking, considering the amount of time that I've played, I should have had way many more 5-stars on my account, but because of the fact that I've had such terrible luck, my choices have been very limited.
Special yakitori for sale. Come and try some.
Oh, you got Zhongli in 3.0. Nice. I want to get
Astra Abyssosk.
I want to get Zhongli in the future, hopefully.
Thank you for completing. Add Astra.
Oh, I don't think my expeditions are ready. Okay. Let's go back to Yelan's quest. This was the quest that I was trying to do on my last stream, but it got interrupted because something came up. I had to end it very shortly after I began. You got a Ganyu and 35 pity with a single pull because you were actually pulling for Xingqiu constellations. Ah. That's strange. Something I always pay attention to is I never pull on a 5-star banner in hopes of getting a 4-star. Because I do not trust my luck. Like, my luck could go in the worst manner possible. So it's possible that I will get lucky on that specific instance that I don't want a 5-star. So I don't really risk it.
Perfect timing. Wenyuan just sent word that the Fatui ambassador, Yusupov, just left the embassy alone. He's heading in the direction of Qingshu Pool.
Qingshu Pool? That's the place Jerry mentioned in his manifesto.
It looks like that's where they've arranged to meet. Sensible choice, I'll give them that. Qingshu Pool is always crawling with monsters. Most people wouldn't dream of going there. It's one place they won't need to worry about being seen.
Oh no, we gotta go get them!
Let's go. If my hunch is correct, we just might hit the jackpot this time.
Thankfully for Alhaitham, you've come very prepared. Nice. It's really funny because Yelan was just out in Liyue Harbor for like a month since I started her quest back in 2.7 when she came out.
Try your luck betting on Jade?
It was funny, like I think she was standing right around here or something for like a month. And I just didn't approach her. Okay. It was the same for you. You also delayed it? I usually don't... Well, I did the same with Hu Tao, but generally speaking, I do the story quests if I start them. For these two was an exception because, you know, something came up one instance or another.
This is Qingshu Pool, full of ruins, crawling with monsters. Anyone with any sense steers well clear of this place. I've looked into the place before. There's a worker's entrance somewhere around here. Follow me.
I mean, for Yelan, it was also partly because I just wanted her to stay right there in open world. Especially because I don't have her, so I can't, like, put her in my Serenity pot.
There's been some work done on this place in the past, but it's a bit of a labyrinth inside. I can't guarantee we'll be safe once we're underground.
Story quests are fun, easy primos. I mean, story quests only give 60 Primogems, I think. Only the last quest gives you Primogems. Unless if there's a domain. Usually story quests have one domain where you go in it and it'll give like a total maybe 10 Primogems over there, depending on how many chests you find.
The workers left an emergency access route. If we can find it, this will be a much easier journey. Still, be ready to fight at any moment. Any resistance needs to be taken out quickly and quietly. We don't want to attract too much attention.
Don't worry, we're all professionals here. By the way, Yelan, where are your 3 little helpers at?
They have other things to take care of first. We couldn't afford to wait for them, but they'll join us later.
But out of the story quests, my most favorite was definitely Albedos. I hope he gets another one. It was very unique, especially considering that it was in Dragonspine. And contrary to popular belief, Dragonspine is one of my most favorite regions. I would say that I had some of the most fun in the game playing stuff in Dragonspine. For some reason people hate it though, I don't know why. I don't know if it's because people, like, they were playing it when, you know, their account was still in the beginning stages and it was hard for them to explore it, but for me it was really cool.
Gotcha. My apologies. No, my sword.
Wind Strider.
Whirling snow.
As I expected, but this shouldn't be too much trouble.
Because that's you with Fog Island and Azuma? Yes, I love that one too. I would say that usually with places that people think are a pain to explore, those happen to be my most favorites. Like the entirety of Inazuma in general. Like, I've always said that Inazuma is my most favorite nation, but for some reason that's a very unpopular belief. When you talk to Genshin fans, most of them will tell you that they hate Inazuma for whatever reason. I guess it's because of the terrain, like the environment, and the fact that some of the islands, you can't really explore them properly unless you complete quests. Like, for example, Yashiori with like the thunder and everything. Same goes for, you know, the Tsurumi Island with the fog. But for me, those were really fun to explore.
Guys, see that? That's gotta be the Fatui ambassador here to meet Jie. Looks like he went through that door.
Your favorite region was Enkanomiya? That one was beautiful too, yeah. Enkanomiya was definitely unique. And Enkanomiya was a very atmospheric region in which the mix of the music with the atmosphere itself was very powerful rather than, let's say, the type of enemies that you encounter over there. But I would say that when Chasm came out, I also felt the same thing, because Chasm is also one of my most favorite regions.
That must be the emergency access route, right? Come on, let's hurry.
Inazuma, best nation and best lore? True. I wholeheartedly agree with that.
Busted. No.
Oh.
Gotcha. Here comes the catch.
You always love it when something is visually reminiscent of something underwater. It's always been a personal preference of yours. And then Kanamiya. Tick that fancy. Okay. Makes sense. I think the reason why I liked Kanamiya so much, it's kind of the same reason why I liked the Chasm. It's because they kind of conveyed this sense of solitude. Especially the underground region of the Chasm. Because when exploring, you can tell that the region has had
The water's gone down.
a very intense and heavy history.
Is that another way through?
But now it feels like abandoned and it feels very lonely. And I think there's something very emotionally powerful in that. But also, I think one of the main reasons why these regions are very powerful is because of the music. Like, Yupeng Chen and the music team did a fantastic job of putting life into all of these regions. Some of the Enkanomiya world quests were so sad, yeah. It's the same for Surmi Island. Besides the main quest line for Surmi Island, which itself is very sad, there are also some hidden exploration objectives. I don't know if you've done those with like the aftermath of it and the ghosts over there. There are like 5 or 6 characters that you can go and talk to, and all of them connect to this like one task called the Boatman's Task. After you complete all of them, you will talk to a boatman on Surmi Island, and they all get to leave together. Yeah, the ghosts.
Take flight! One with nature.
You haven't done them yet? You should definitely go and do them. I don't remember their exact locations yet, but you can go in the Genshin Wiki and you can search up Boatman's Task. And you'll be able to find his location, and then if you go talk to him, he will tell you which quests you haven't done yet, because there are, I think, 6 quests in total. Maybe I'm mistaken, but each of them are hidden exploration objectives. So you go and talk to ghosts all over Surumi Island, and after you've completed each and every one of their quests, you will go talk to the boatman, and basically they all leave on a boat. It's a very emotionally powerful kind of hidden exploration objective.
Really? Let me leave you a
It's the very general instruments that emphasize how Economia is lost and detached from the rest of the VAT. Yeah. At the time that Enkanomiya came out, its music in general was very different from other parts of Tevat. But I would say Chasm kind of followed the same... Not that its music was the same as Enkanomiya, but the fact that it was very melancholic. It had the same idea that this was a region with a very heavy history, where a lot of unfortunate events happened, and it's now kind of abandoned. Both are related to Kandria? Yep, absolutely. Okay. Kandria, your beloved. I'm very eager to have Kandria lore in the upcoming versions. Obviously, the past few versions were very focused on Sumeru and its past, but I think we're in due for some lore crumbs in Kandria. I personally
flowed into the groove, and now the statues
let her
have lit
talk.
up. Okay, now we should be able to move the statues.
I personally think that out of all the nations in game, Snezhnaya is probably the one which is going to be intertwined the most with Kandria, because we know that what the Tsaritsa is doing is somehow linked with what happened in Kandria. But also because we have Piero, who is from Kandria. So if we think that we're going to meet Piero in Snezhnaya, then technically speaking, the nation in which we're going to get the most information is likely going to be Snezhnaya, which is also the last nation which we're going to get in game. So it's going to take a few years before we get to that stage. Need more Dane too? Yep. Who doesn't? More Albedo too. I feel like he needs more screen time.
This is the construction workers' emergency access route, but it's closed tight. Trying to break through would be risky. Let's see if we can find another way.
Oh, okay, I see. You love how Kaya's confirmed Desi and Piero is Latino, which proves the global Latino out there. I'm kind of hoping that we encounter Piero before going to Snezhnaya.
We should be nearly at the bottom now. Let's wrap this up.
What is my favorite team to use? It's the current Ayako Freeze team. My favorite team is Ayato, Xiangling, Sucrose, and Bennett. But this is one of my most favorite teams, that's for sure.
One with wind and cloud. Into the wind.
My apologies.
National Ayato? It's also because Ayato is my strongest character. I had the best luck on his artifacts. I have a C1 and I have the Primordial Jade Cutter. And he's cracked pretty much. Like, my Aika is very strong, don't get me wrong. Her burst does an insane amount of damage, but Ayato's DPS capacity is just unparalleled.
I can tell from the aroma that this is very fine liquor indeed. I'm impressed. Come on, bottoms up. After you, of course.
You hope that they let us meet other harbingers as we go along the nations, like Straits are saying we're gonna meet Sandrona and Fontaine, I think. Yeah, I hope so too, because we're gonna have a lot of harbingers. So it's not like from now on it can't be that we get a harbinger each nation, because we don't have a lot of nations remaining, and the number of harbingers exceeds the number of nations that is remaining. So I'm hoping that we're getting at least 2 Harbingers per nation. I'm still hoping we get Dottore before Subaru, before Fontaine comes out. I really hope that, especially because he is from Sumeru too.
Oh, sorry, that went down the wrong way. I've never drunk anything this strong before. It'll take me some getting used to.
Persian King, yeah. I was so surprised when I realized that he was named Zandik. It was like, wow, that's actually pretty smart. Especially considering his role in academia and the way his past fits so perfectly with that name, considering the academia titles are heavily inspired by Zoroastrian principles, and the fact that they're literally titles that were assigned to Zoroastrian priests, and the fact that he went against them. Very smart choice in terms of name. Your strongest character you think is either Yoimiya or Ito. Nahida is getting added to that too. Nahida is very strong in my Bloom team, because I have Nilou, and also in an Electro team. Like, in general, Dendro gave a huge boost to Electro, but Nahida, because of the fact that her off-field damage sustains for a very long period of time, it's very useful for your Electro teams.
You'll get there. If you want to stay friends with us, you have to drink with us.
I'll do my best.
This is what peer pressure looks like when you don't want to drink, but the social circumstances force you to do so.
You're more of a lightweight than I thought. Already struggling after 1 glass?
Do not try this at home.
I thought you were made of sterner stuff. You certainly kept it together when you were poisoning your teacher's soup.
Nilou Bloom team is insane? Yeah. Especially if you have the right equipment for her. Although she is a very niche character, that's for sure, and currently we don't have a lot of Dendro characters to have diversity for, but with Kali and Nahida, and the other Hydro character, depending on who you have, you could put Xingqiu, or you can use Kokomi if you have her, even Barbara, I guess. It's a very strong team.
Come on, another round. Less talking, more drinking.
Use Nahida, Nilou, Barbara. Okay. Me too. I use Nilou, Kali, Nahida, and Barbara.
Sure. You didn't leave me much of a choice, though, did you? Just the mention of poisoning sends shivers down my spine.
The 3.4 teaser, Al-Haytham spoke about the 6 cardinal sins, and how curious. Is that referencing something real to Swanza, or is this another case of Tevat being odd? The 6 cardinal sins, it doesn't really ring any bell. I don't know if this is related to any religion. I know it, well, based on my knowledge of Zoroastrianism, it doesn't seem related to it, but I don't know if this is something they took out of from, you know, another religion. Maybe they took it out of Hinduism or Buddhism, I don't know. Dendro MC is really good, you know. Dendro MC is very underrated, especially because if you have there's actually a best in slot for the Dendro Traveler, and that's the 4-star weapon that came out. What was it called? The Zephos' Moonlight, yeah. That weapon actually is very good for Dendro Traveler, and I got it because I was trying to get the Primordial Jade Cutter. I think I got 3 refinements for it. It works extremely well for Dendro Traveler. And because the way I built the Dendro Traveler is that I did an Elemental Mastery build on, well, I have Lumine, so on her. and then I gave her that weapon because the weapon's main stat is Elemental Mastery. I think it's 165 Elemental Mastery, and then it will give you and also your team energy recharge based on the Traveler's Elemental Mastery. So it's a very useful weapon for the Traveler, especially if you're doing an Elemental Mastery build, like the way I'm doing it. Which one? You know, like the 4-star blue sword? Zephos' Moonlight, that's what it's called. But it's an event exclusive 4-star, so you have to wait for it to appear again. It was on Nilu's weapon banner. If you can go and check it out if you want.
I'm more timid than you realize. Every time I poisoned him, I had to hide away at home for a few days because I was so scared of getting caught.
Look, I know it has not been easy for you, my friend. We appreciate all your hard work.
It's good on Kazuha? Yes, actually before it came out, I made a post on Twitter saying that Zephos' Moonlight would be extremely powerful on Kazuha too. So it doesn't only work on Dendro Traveler, it works on a lot of different characters. Like if you have a character that uses Elemental Mastery, then that weapon is really good because, I mean, who doesn't want energy recharge for the entirety of the team, right?
But I have to say, you really are quite a genius at poisoning people.
You didn't pull on Nilu's weapon banner because that was when you first started playing? Oh, really? Wow, you started pretty recently then. I hope you're enjoying the game. Yeah, that's understandable. When you first start playing, you're very cautious not to pull on a weapon banner, because a weapon banner is an absolute nightmare. If you first started playing, pulling on the weapon banner is an absolute mistake. Like, pulling on the weapon banner only starts when you've got a fair number of 5 stars that you want, and you're just now looking to like make fine-tunings to your account by getting weapons that would greatly boost your damage. And in my case, I pulled on that banner because I wanted the Primordial Jade Cutter. It would work on both my Ayato as well as Nilou, but just in general, Primordial Jade Cutter is an extremely powerful weapon.
I mean, the poison we brought from Snezhnaya is as strong as this wine, but you found a way to turn it into an imperceptible, slow-acting poison, and came up with the idea of delivering it through fish soup.
Wow, that's a very clever way of doing it.
What was it you said? Oh, yeah. You said the soup's fishy flavor neutralizes the pungency of the poison, and this process even makes the soup tastier as a result. How did you think of that?
That's pretty horrible.
It struck me one day when I was fishing. I'm lucky it did. Otherwise, I'm not sure I would have been able to fool Uncle Tien.
Wow, who would have thought?
You have performed excellently. The Fatui will continue to provide the support you need to consolidate your position as Tien Shu. Of course, this is as long as you continue to do as we instruct.
Did I get the key of Hajini suit by accident? No, thankfully not. That was what I was scared about the most when I was pulling on that banner, because the key of Hajini suit will only work on Nilou. And frankly, I did not want that weapon for Nilou at all, because A, it really doesn't suit her aesthetics, but also it's just, the Primordial Jade Cutter is better. Like, if you wouldn't know which one is her signature weapon, and then you would describe both of these weapons and you would ask a person, which do you think is best in slot for Nilou, then the Primordial Jade Cutter would make much more sense than the Key of Hajini suit. And like, the crit rate helps a lot because Nilou doesn't have crit rate or damage as her ascension stat. She has HP. So you really need crit rate from like a source, and the Primordial Jade Cutter is really the best source. So you can focus on crit damage mostly for your artifacts.
Aside from Qingshu Pool, we also have some other requests for you, which we will inform you of in due course.
Don't worry. Whatever tasks you have for me, I will perform them diligently.
Did you hear that? It was poison! That's why Uncle Tien hasn't been feeling me. It's all Jurye's doing.
You actually wanted it for Nilou, who you wanted to get, but sadly wasn't too lucky to obtain. You did use your new guarantee to get Nahida, which you suppose ended up making things work out in your favor. Yes, well, if you got Nahida, it's definitely a huge boost to your Nilou team.
What a nasty guy. Seize him!
Hold on. Did you bring a camera? If not, you can use mine. This is quite a scene. We have to capture it for posterity.
I like Yelan's style.
Excellent liquor.
And by the way, we need more quests with Yelan.
We've seen no progress on the diplomatic front, and everyone has been eyeing up the treasure of Qingshu Pool. It's been a real headache for me.
The Archon quest in the Chasm was quite a treat because we got to spend a decent amount of time with Yelan, but also Ito, the first time appearing in any Archon quest. That was a really cool one. I'd say it kind of outdid a lot of the main story Archon quests.
But soon, everything will be taken care of, and I can report back on a successful mission. Thank you, Jurye. I remember when I first saw you. I knew right away that you would make a good partner for us. Hey, do you still remember what I said to you?
How could I forget? You said a lowly commoner like me could never be seen as a serious candidate for the Tianshu, no matter how hard I work.
Yikes, that's terrible. I think he just says that very nonchalantly.
The only way is for you to shine bright in the Tianshu's darkest moment. I think you were absolutely right.
Yes. Under normal circumstances, the gap between you and other people could only ever grow wider over time. Just look at your two competitors. Qian Wei had wealth. Ming Boa had reputation. But you had nothing. You were just another nobody. And that's why I decided to help you. You know, there's an old saying in the Fatui. Give a starving dog a bone, and it'll guard your home for the rest of its life.
Yes. I cannot thank you enough for your generous support.
This is a very uncomfortable conversation between them.
You know, the best thing about you is that you do as you're told without complaining. Hey, keep up the good work, and I can assure you, you'll never have to worry about Mora again. Heck, when you're not in the company of the Fatui, you'll be able to throw your weight around as much as you want. How about that?
Heck. I can't believe he just said that word. Heck. Please. If you're gonna replace swear words with cringe things like heck, just don't use them at all. Kion Nilou is very strong though because of her incredibly unique role in scaling. There isn't really any other weapon that does what the weapon provides. Yes, I agree that there's no other weapon that provides what that does because of the EM boost and scaling on her HP. And Nilou can use crit stat, but it's just the fact that other DPS usually either have, like good DPS usually either have crit damage or crit rate as ascension stat, so that depending on which one it is, you can focus your artifacts on the other one. Or, you know, you can focus your weapon and artifact, like you can somehow balance it out. But when you have a DPS character like Nilou, well, DPS, a very niche DPS, and you don't have any kind of crit on her ascension stat, then you want at least your weapon to give you some kind of crit. Because, like, when you put the Key of Hajnisu, sure, it gives a lot of HP, and it has the EM boost, but then all that is left is your artifacts, and you have to somehow manage with the crit damage and rate that gives you.
Uncle Gao said that Jurye has low self-esteem. Seems he was right. He was worried that whatever advantage he might have now will diminish over time, so the Fatui persuaded him that he should act while he can.
Do I have child? No. When I got Ayato, there was no need for a child anymore. I mean, he's cool. I've played him whenever he was in trial, and he's fun. It's just I prefer Ayato much more. He's much more fun to play.
Do you have any more film in the camera? Then get ready to use it. Tonight's grand finale should be coming up any minute now.
Funny enough, when I started Genshin, the banner that was up was actually Child's banner. And I remember trying his character, and I was like, wow, this is really fun to play. But I didn't... Well, I did pull on his banner, but I only got some 4 stars. I got to Yen Fei and Chong Yun, I think.
How well this goes for us depends on how Jur-E plays his hand.
What's my Ayato's highest crit damage? I mean, it depends. Like, on Vaporize, if we're talking about each one of his hits, like on his elemental skill, each hit can go up anywhere between 30 to 40k. But I'm talking about each hit. Like, do you know how much his attack speed actually is? He has insane attack speed on his normal attacks when you use his elemental skill. So with Vape, it's like between 30 to 40k.
Ooh, is there any more alcohol?
But that's with Primordial Jade Cutter.
Fill me up. I'm in a good mood today, and I'm gonna drink my fill. Make sure to get me home safely afterward.
Okay, but note, I have the Primordial Jade Cutter. I'm mentioning this again. The Primordial Jade Cutter is a huge boost because I don't know if you know Ayato's scaling. He scales both on attack and HP. So the Primordial Jade Cutter will increase your HP, and then it'll increase your attack based on your HP. So that weapon is just like made for Ayato. Also, I got very lucky at his artifacts. Like, my artifacts for Ayato are crit rate, crit damage, and HP. I'm talking about the substats, not the main stats. But he is very powerful. I'd say if you want to pull for Ayato, I would encourage it, but only if you have enough wishes that you feel confident. He'll probably become one of your best DPS for sure.
There's
Especially...
only a little left. Here, I'll fill your glass. If you like it, I can bring you some more next time.
What makes him so powerful is because of his attack speed. His attack speed is insane. The amount of damage that you can do during his elemental skill with your normal attacks is really significant. Especially if you have the right artifact set, Heart of Depth on him, and a good weapon. You can still use the Black Sword on him, and you would still do a lot of damage. Well, unless if you're free to play, of course. Then you wouldn't be able to get the Black Sword. He's so fun to play, very much so, yeah. Also, his burst takes only 60 energy, and it lasts for a very long period of time. You have Hydro Application on enemies for, like, God knows, like 18 seconds or something, I think?
Whoa, this is the good stuff. It is great.
What was that voice acting? What?
Huh? What the?
You have the Black Sword, but only because one of your Twitter mutuals took pity on you and bought you the Battle Pass. If you have the Black Sword, then I'd suggest you pull for Ayato. Because then you don't have to worry about crit rate that much. But it depends on how many Primogems you have. You think being Iranian helped? The best tool. Maybe
Jur-E, you poisoned my wine? But when?
Maybe the next time I want a character, I'll use being Iranian as a... I'll use it as an excuse. The Iranian card. That's very funny.
You seem surprised, Mr. Yusupov.
How could you?
How could I not? I've sacrificed years of my life studying and reflecting to prepare myself for this position. And in the end, I even had to poison my own teacher. You really think I'd put myself through all that just to become your little puppet? I don't want to bow down to anyone ever again. And that includes you.
You imbecile. It's the Fatui who got you to where you are. Do you understand? If I disappear with no explanation, the embassy will come after you. They'll get to the bottom of this. Mark my words.
You're a poor Iranian neurodivergence minor in dire need of the battle pass in Vulcan. Wait, is that the exact sentence that you used, or is that like just a description that you gave? But I think it's very kind of whoever helped you. No. Anyway, I think it's a very generous thing. I always find it admirable when people help. Oh, that's what you give off. Understandable.
Do you see the haystack in the corner? Underneath it is a pile of explosives. And next door in the dark room are the 3 undercover agents you sent to infiltrate the Black Cliff Forge. I'm gonna stay here till I see you slip into unconsciousness. Then I'm gonna set this on fire. Once the flames burn through the hay, they'll ignite the explosives, the ruins will collapse, and everything will be buried.
I mean, to be fair, if you've lived in Iran for a considerable amount of time, regardless of how healthy you were, you will be inflicted with mental damage. Like this is true for every person who's lived in Iran. It's like irreversible mental damage as a result of just being there in that environment. It's a literal insanity.
What do you hope to?
I took the liberty of leaving some evidence of your contact with the undercover agents at the Black Cliff Forge. It won't take long for people to join the dots. 2 missing person cases will become 1 as the truth gradually reveals itself. The Fatui planted undercover agents in the Black Cliff Forge to steal their signature ruin-grade explosives. Their plan was to blow through the solid floor tiles in the dead of night and seize the treasure of Qingshu Pool. But things didn't quite go to plan. Mistakes were made that led to the accidental deaths of the entire crew.
Accidental death. I see.
Faced with the overwhelming evidence, the embassy won't investigate this any further. In fact, they'll be only too happy to blame it all on a rogue operation by you. It explains why you acted alone, while exonerating the rest of the embassy of any liability. Of course, none of that will have anything to do with me. When all of this comes to my attention, I'm afraid I'll have no choice but to cancel the Qingshu Pool redevelopment plan immediately. I guess then, I'll be Tianshu in my own right, with a clean record and well out of the Fatui's reach.
Oh, look at him, all so smug.
Shuri, do you really think you're gonna get away with this? The Fatui has a record of everything. That includes the poison, all interactions between us, even my trip here tonight.
I find it funny that every member of Fatui that we encounter in this game always boasts and exaggerates the capacity and control Fatui has over everything, but like in the Traveler's Journey, we always kind of make them look like idiots, and they fail in like the most miserable ways.
After I die, they'll come looking, and they'll get to the bottom of this.
Like, it's always like, the Fatui will make you pay. And then it's like 2 Fatui members you fight, and the fight is over in like 2 seconds.
A record? Oh, you must mean the one in the hands of your second-in-command, Theophan?
How do you know about that?
Because when you contacted me, I also made contact with your associates. I have Theophan to thank for providing me with the poison I used on you today.
Oh god, thank god. I thought I received another message considering academia and thought I had to end my stream again. Hopefully it was nothing of that sort.
He'll help me tie up all the loose ends. After all, your untimely demise comes with a few perks for him.
The Traveler beat the... It's with nothing but a dull blade. Yes.
He has been eyeing your position for a long time now.
That traitor! Yi, you!
Shh, 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 shh. Relax. It's over. After tonight, everyone gets what they want. And anyone else in the know is either my accomplice or about to be taken out of the picture.
He's trying to sound like Dottore. I don't like that. Like this line would sound cool if it was Dottore who said it, but it's just on him. It's just, you know, it kind of feels off. I don't know.
Sweet dreams, Mr. Yusupov.
Although technically this quest came out before Dottore was ever appeared in the game, but still, now that I've seen Dottore, it's just this line sounds like something Dottore would say, and it would be cool on him. Oh. Well, well. Just that. I thought there was going to be a cutscene, but I guess we have to come out too.
I did a little surveying on the way here and found that you'd left yourself 3 escape routes in case things went south. I have them all surrounded. If you're thinking of trying anything, save yourself the effort. The game's up. We were here the whole time and have pictures of everything. They came out pretty nicely. Want to see them?
The game's up? Forgive me, I'm not quite sure what you're referring to, Miss Yelan.
Look at like how his tone changed immediately. Wow.
I happened to discover a Fatui operation here, so I approached them on the pretext of joining forces and eventually brought them down from within. If it pleases you, Miss Yelan, I'd be only too happy to have you join me in investigating this matter.
Imagine trying to fool Yelan.
This is how you want to play it, huh? Fine. You do you. All we need to do to convict you is establish that the poison in his system is the same as in Uncle Tien's. Nothing else you wanted to add? Let's leave it there then. Time to go.
One wrong move and it all comes crashing down. I should have been more careful.
Hey, at least you were arrested by Yelan. Should be happy about that.
You followed him here, didn't you? I was so focused on keeping myself out of sight, I forgot he was a potential liability. Let's talk about this, Yelan. I gave you my word that I would live up to the Tianshu name, and that much I can still guarantee.
Your point being?
When I take office, I can guarantee that I will act in your best interests. In fact, all of you here tonight can expect very generous treatment in the future.
What?
I don't deny that I used underhanded methods to get here. But given my lowly origins, what other choice did I have?
Need Yelan to taffy you so bad?
You still don't get it, do you? Even now. What do you think? Exactly. Jur-E, clever people can always come up with a good excuse. But while you might be able to get other people to believe you, you'll never be able to deceive yourself.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Generally speaking, you would have negative views towards being interrogated by people, but only if that person is Yelan, then it's okay to be interrogated. In fact, not only it's okay, it's actually a positive experience.
There's nothing wrong with wanting to win other people's respect, but when has Uncle Tien ever looked down on you? He was like a teacher and a father to you, but you chose to repay that by poisoning him. Whatever positive goal you may have started out with, You threw it away in that moment.
So thankful I have Lumine and not that creature. The game is much more enjoyable to me with Lumine, because I have a second account in which I have Ether, and it just feels so unnatural. Like, whenever I'm doing quests and just Ether appears, it just feels out of place. It's like, what is he doing there? But with Lumine, it just feels right. Maybe it's because I started my account with Lumine, and just because I've played the game up until this point with her, she just feels right. And also, I think Ether fits perfectly as the Abyss Twin. Like, whenever I see Ether, for example, on my Lumine account here, as being the Abyss Twin and talking, it just makes sense. But on the other account, when I was playing it, and I was playing the story, and when Lumine was the Abyss Twin, I was like, nah, that doesn't feel right.
That's enough.
Which is funny, because most people choose Ether, and they think that for them it feels unnatural when you have Lumine as the Traveler, but for me it's the complete opposite. I think Lumine fits perfectly as the Traveler and Ether as the Abyss Twin.
Of course. What makes this even crueler is that you managed to convince yourself there was no other way. Uncle Tien was always going to give you this opportunity, even if you'd done nothing at all.
Oh, and there's one more thing, like, when you have Lumine, your interactions with the characters, they have much more meaning. Like, I know you've seen this, like, there's this portion of the fandom that will ship every single female character with Ether. Like, because they've chosen Ether as the Traveler, and they'll interpret as every single interaction of Ether with the females that you encounter in every region. It's like, yeah, this character actually is in love with Ether. It's like, what? Like, me who's chosen Lumine as my Traveler, it's like, what are you talking about?
Out of everyone in the world, he is the one who trusts you the most. So much that he drank your fish soup without doubting you, not for 1 second.
It's also funny because it's literally the same conversations. Like, whether you choose Lumine or Ether, the conversation the characters will have with you is the exact same, right? So when I play Lumine and, like, the characters say this, whatever they say to Lumine, I don't think, this character is actually in love with the Traveler, right? But people who, like, a lot of people who play Ether, they think that, no, this character must have feelings. I mean, I know that a lot of characters, or at least almost all the characters, like the Traveler, sure, but liking and having romantic feelings are not the same thing.
That's enough. That's enough.
Life is like fishing. It cannot be rushed. Whatever you do, impatience will accomplish nothing. I was just like you once, desperate to prove myself. Only later did I realize things do not always turn out the way you plan, but you have to keep calm to carry on. You're still young. Be patient, believe in yourself, and don't look outside yourself to prove your value. Where's Jury these days? It's been a long time since he last paid me a visit.
Maybe he's just busy.
Well, next time, if he doesn't bring a pot of piping hot fish soup, don't let him in.
Whatever you were thinking about, you'll have plenty of time to mull it over in prison. Oh, I almost forgot. If the Fatui find out what happened today, prison might not turn out to be the safest place for you. Trying to have friends on both sides, it has a way of turning everyone against you. But right now, I have an opportunity for you.
God, why does she have so much appeal? Goodness, Jesus Christ. I was gonna say that with...
Sorry, things are about to get extremely busy for me. Let's meet at Yenshan Tea House tomorrow morning.
I was thinking that it was so sad like the fact that he was trying to poison his own mentor, especially with what it just showed with their past and everything. But then Yelan, just like that line was so good. You personally think that Child loves Lumine, but that's just you. I can kind of understand where that comes from. I personally, based on their interactions, at least from my own experience with playing Lumine, the one I felt the most was Albedo. Especially because if you have Albedo in your Serenity Pod, one of his unlocked lines when you go and talk to him is that, I think, I'm rephrasing it because I don't remember the exact line, but he says that whenever you're around me, my heart feels a very special way or something. I think where he says that it starts racing or that it feels very strange, which I found to be absolutely adorable, by the way. But out of all the characters, the one that I've kind of sensed the most being, like, having possibly romantic feelings towards the Traveler was Albedo. It was such an adorable line. I never knew that he, like, had a line like that until recently when I unlocked his line on the Serenity Pod.
I'll have someone remove the explosives. Then, there's someone I have to go and see.
Need our help with that?
No, it could be dangerous. You should leave this one to the professionals. Don't worry. As long as they're willing to cooperate, this'll be a straightforward deal. Get some rest. See you tomorrow.
One of Child's teapot line is like, let's conquer the world together. Sounds about right. That does sound like something he would say. His birthday letters are so personal. I mean, every character's birthday letter is personal, to be fair. Like, I've read most of them, and all of them seem very personal. It's like, they're all very intimate. Like, all of the characters like the Traveler, that's for sure. But for me, the one I've sensed the most romantic possibility was Albedo. But I think, like, people have different interpretations, because this game doesn't explicitly form any kind of romantic relationships between the characters like that. So it's really, it's up to your own interpretation. Even, like, I don't find the concept of shipping a character with Ether necessarily a weird thing. What I find weird is shipping every single character with Ether and interpreting every interaction that characters have with Ether as like, oh, this must be a romantic interest. Like, that's what's weird to me, I guess. But generally speaking, it's really up to your own interpretation. What does it say? Is it 8 in the morning? Yeah, okay. By the way, what do you think about the fact that we're going to see Guralbad finally in the new 3.4 region? I think they mentioned this in the stream, that we're going to have access to, well, the remnants of Guralbad and in the new area.
There is now no poison left in his system. But recovery from the damage already done will not happen overnight.
Oh, Baiju! Hello! I never thought I would see him. That's cool.
Dr. Baiju, is my father going to be...
That's a very nice surprise. We need more Baiju too. We need more Baiju screen time. Hopefully after his release. You hadn't heard of that? Yeah, and on the 3.4 stream, they mentioned that one of the regions you'll be able to explore in the new 3.4 will be Gurabad.
You needn't worry too much. Keep taking the prescribed medicine every day, and a full recovery will take at most 2 to 3 years. It's good we caught it in time. A few days later, and the toxin would have built up in the internal organs. At that point, things would have been much more serious.
That's so cool. Yeah, there's more information actually. There are more features, but those are leaks, and I don't wanna talk about leaks on this stream. But there are even more interesting elements on 3.4. But there's heavy mixing of cultures. It's like really a lot. Overly mixed, I would say.
How did they successfully secure such a seldom seen poison? It seems the Fatui are extremely resourceful. Unfortunately for them, they were up against us.
As per usual, yeah.
Uncle Tian will be heading off now. Remember to get plenty of rest and avoid overexerting yourself while you're recovering.
Like, playing Sumeru is such a weird experience because the more you play, the more the sheer amount of cultural mixing that they've done becomes salient to, and it's like, why? Like, there was no reason to mix them to this extent. Like, when I think about it, I try to imagine this. If the developers, while making Sumeru, had taken a moment and thought, what if a Western gaming company creates a fictional region, they take very prominent aspects of Chinese culture, they mix it with Japanese, Korean, as well as several other Southeast Asian cultures into one region. How would we feel about this? Like, they could have just taken a moment and think about this while making Sumeru, and they could have realized what's wrong with doing whatever they did.
Don't worry, I will. Thank you very much.
They put all of Swana in a blender. It's not just Swana, that's the thing. It's Swana and SA, so it's Southwest Asia, North Africa, and South Asia. So it's like 3 very different cultures. Like, even within Swana, the cultural diversity is insanely diverse. Like, there is more cultural diversity in Swana alone than there is in between Korea, both North and South, China and Japan. Like, the cultural diversity in Swana is more than those three countries combined. And then you add South Asian countries to that as well. And it's really insane. I should send an email to Mihoyo.
You're here too? Thank you.
That's not going to have any impact.
To solve this situation. I'll have to make some tea in a moment. You simply have to try it.
Like, a lot of people have already sent emails since the beginning of Sumeru's release. And if anything, it actually got worse. Like, because there was a one version gap. There was a one version gap between the release of Sumeru Rainforest and the Sumeru Desert. So technically speaking, they had time to make changes if they actually cared. They could have made changes and changed things about the desert. But the desert has just as much cultural mixing. Like, the desert is supposed to be ancient Egypt, but you go and find the primal obelisks, and it's filled with stuff from Shahnameh. Like, I don't know if you've read the vaguely readable inscriptions in Sumeru Desert, but in them, it's filled with characters from Shahnameh. There's Garshasp, there's Hojir, there's Gudars, there's Goraz. There's so many characters, and I'm like, wait, isn't this supposed to be ancient Egypt? Why do we have characters from Shahnameh in there? It's what I'm trying to say is that even the desert has a lot of cultural mixing.
Yes, the exhaustion seems to have gone. My mind is steadily getting clearer again.
Luckily, it looks like choosing the Tianshu's successor is suddenly not such a pressing issue after all.
Hey, Yelan!
My work is mostly wrapped up, so I thought I'd take a minute to check in here. The assessment process comes to an end here, Uncle Tian. In my opinion, Zhi is not suitable for the position. But Qianwei and Mingbo both have potential.
You have my gratitude. People can change their loyalties easily. I've always known this. But whenever it happens, it's still a dismal experience.